Nobody cares about Clark Kent taking on Batman, but everybody cares about the Bro Force Squad has to say about Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. I'm Brian Banner, and with me today we have our very own Alfred, Jeff Hornacek. Jeff, just go get me some tea. We also have our own Lex Luthor of the pod, Matthew F. Geiger. Geiger, are you ready to be put in jail by two people that have the same mother's name?
I'm ready to put to rest this huge conversation about BVS. And if you stay tuned, which you already are, you will hear that you're either smart or an idiot. Banner, back to you.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I'm going to go right back to you guys. If you guys, as you guys know, on all of our movie reviews, we graded our movies on 5 criteria, first of which is acting and casting. Geiger, I'm going to go straight off to you. Start us off. What'd you think about the acting and casting of Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice?
First, I'll name some names. Affleck, Irons, Cavill, Eisenberg, Adams, Gal Gadot was fantastic in this as well. I'm going to pick one. Jesse Eisenberg. I thought he was fantastic. A lot of people did not like him. A lot of people wanted different people. The guy from Breaking Bad. But he's playing Alexander Luthor Jr. Once again, if you don't understand that, you're too stupid to listen to this. They gave you 3 clues that he is playing Lex Luthor's son. Now, he is not very known in the comics. He is part of Earth 3, where Lex marries Lois Lane from another Earth and has a son. He has special powers. He's not like this in this movie, I understand. But he's supposed to be a new age Lex Luthor, a young kind of person that started Google or Facebook, basically the same thing he played in the Social Network. I thought he did a fantastic job. Now, maybe down the line, we might actually get his father. I'm thinking we're actually going to get a Lex Luthor and Wonder Woman, maybe an after-credit scene or something like that. But I thought Eisenberg did terrible. Or fantastic, sorry.
See, you can't even lie for the whole...
You can't lie about it.
I thought he did fantastic, man. Some people thought he was giggly and stuff. I thought he delivered his lines fine. I have no problem with him. Jeff?
So I get he's Alexander Luthor Jr. He was just awful in the movie. I understand that part completely. But this is a great comic book movie. Snyder rips multiple scenes right off the page. It's incredible. And you'll get to how much I love it here in a second. Jesse Eisenberg, despite his best efforts, could not ruin this film for me. There's a lot of great actors in this. Affleck is now the consummate Batman to me. He's my favorite ever. But Jeremy Irons as Alfred is such a sleeper performance in this film. I don't even want to say scene stealer. I just want a straight-up Alfred movie. I would watch that for 2.5 hours. But this movie, aside from Eisenberg, is perfectly cast. Everybody's in their sweet spot. And as Snyder always does, the visual style that he has just works perfectly.
Guys, I'm going to go a little different direction real quick here. Gal Gadot stole the show for me. Wasn't talked a whole lot about going into the movie because everything was, is Affleck going to do great? How is him and Cavill going to do? Obviously, you have big names like Eisenberg and Adams. Gal Gadot comes in, is smoking hot, and she did awesome. I thought that her end fight scene, she kind of stole the show as well. That scene with her and Affleck at the party at LexCorp was awesome. I thought she was fantastic as well. Overall, pretty good cast. Everybody did pretty well. Next, Jeff, let's go to you. Story and plot.
All right, now I know that there's the big debate out there, the Ultimate Edition versus the regular edition. I've seen both. I like both a lot, but I love the Ultimate Edition, so I'll make this quick. The regular version has a really confusing first act, and Clark Kent's motivation, pretty much the whole first and second act, I just didn't really get. Having said that, both movies have one of the best third acts I've ever seen in my life, and the Ultimate Edition fixes most of my problems, but it runs just north of 3 hours, so I like the story and plot a lot. I absolutely am in love with the third act of this film.
Geiger.
Piggybacking off the third act, I think that was the first time when Lex actually had Superman's mother that you saw a story arc for Superman. Now, this is the Dark Knight Returns meets Death of Superman. Once again, if you don't understand that, go read those comics and you'll probably like this movie better. Doomsday, which is one of my favorite villains, the best Superman villain in my opinion ever, shows up. Love that. I love the dream sequence scenes. That was so... I mean, I felt like I was back in aisle 9, which if you guys haven't read my squad blog about that, go to bro4squad.com when we do blogs. But I felt I was back there reading a comic book. If you don't like this movie, you're a fan of superhero films. You're not a fan of comic book films. This is the only other comic book film I've ever seen besides the first Hulk with Eric Bana. And I love that movie too. This is a comic book film, not a superhero film. So if you don't like it, not because of the story. If you've seen the Ultimate Edition, like Jeff said, you don't like it, you don't like comic book films. You like superhero films, but you don't like comic book films. This is a comic book film just like the original Hulk with Eric Bana.
Yeah, I mean, again, wasn't a big fan of the theatrical version. I really like the extended version. It's a completely different movie, and that's all I'll say on that. We'll go on to our next 3rd out of 5 categories, best scene. I'll go first. When Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne meet, and Lex Jr. joins them at the little gala party thing. Thought that was great dialogue, very, very interesting dynamic. And I think that's the first time, you guys know I hate Cavill, but I think that's the first time that I actually bought him as Superman / Clark Kent, and him kind of playing both sides and really starting to kind of figure out. That's the first time that the three of them are in the room together. Loved that scene. It works for me every time. Geiger, let's go to you next.
When Superman says, "Save Martha," which is the most talked about, made fun of thing on the internet or at a bar, I thought it was very creative. Come from somebody, dude, I've read DC Comics since I was 3 years old. I'm a fan. I love Marvel. Marvel's comics are fantastic. Love X-Men, love Spider-Man, love all that. But I'm a DC guy through and through. I thought it was creative. I never even knew that their mothers share the same name, which I felt kind of stupid whenever I left. And Bruce finally sees Superman as Clark during that scene. He's a person just like anyone else, protecting the people he loved. And also the reason Bruce became Batman is to make sure that no one was taken from their family just like him.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And if he would have killed Clark right there, he would have been taking him from his mother. And I feel bad explaining this to people, but this is me at a bar like every night trying to explain the scene. It was like, it's stupid just because their mother has, like, you don't understand. You just don't understand. But that is the scene.
Yeah, very well said, Geiger. If you think that was because their mom said the same name, then I just don't really know. I mean, watch the movie, I guess. I'll take the low-hanging fruit. I can't believe no one took this. This is a top 10, not only comic book movie scene, but just a movie scene for me in general. It's right after the Save Martha scene you referenced, when Bruce goes to the warehouse and fucks up KG Beast and all those guys. Zack Snyder, with a fastball right down the middle, knocks it out of the park. My second honorable mention, just because it hints at so many things that we want to see in the DCEU, is the dialogue with Alfred and Bruce Wayne, and I think one of the best lines in the movie, when Affleck says to Alfred, 20 years in Gotham, we've seen what promises are worth. How many good guys left? How many stayed that way? And you just think about all the great mythology and the comic lore that Batman has, and how much Snyder knows it, appreciates it, and wants to give it to us. And to me, it's just why, as a comic book fan who grew up with this, why you go to the movies, and why I still wear my Batman robe when I go there, because I get older, but I don't want to grow up, and Zack Snyder gets that, and that scene was awesome to me. So I know I took 2, but fuck you guys, because they're both awesome.
Jeff, to piggyback off that, Snyder did a fantastic job, but a coach is only as good as the players he has. And our boy, who we're both Facebook friends with, Richard Centrone, was a stuntman in that scene. And he was fantastic in that, one of the best stuntmen in the business. But that Save Martha scene is one of the greatest scenes ever in comic book superhero movie history.
100%.
All right, guys. Continuing off of that, impact on pop culture. Jeff, you want to go ahead and take this?
Yeah, so this was big for 2 reasons. I think it was bigger than Man of Steel. Obviously, it brought 2 iconic characters together, but also the first time ever on the big screen that we saw Wonder Woman, and to Snyder and DC's credit, she wasn't over-sexualized, she wasn't just shoehorned in the movie. I think that was almost bigger than anything else, and obviously it just helped further the cinematic universe.
Geiger.
It's weird for me. I think it's huge. I'm a millennial just like everyone else, but I really don't care what other people think. I very much enjoyed this movie. Seeing Batman versus Superman, something I've only seen in comics that I always dreamed about, two people going face to face and Batman actually with like a suit designed to fight Superman. It was like a cinematic boner for me. I loved it. I loved how dark it was, and I think with the DC movies we've seen, they get better as each one comes out. See Man of Steel. At the end, I didn't like the ending scene. I liked it better after I watched BVS because I'm like, okay, I get it. This explains where that story ended. This one takes place, and I really dug it. I like that they're teasing Flashpoint Paradox. I think they're teasing Injustice.
Love that.
Which, in video games, man, that's like the shit in video games. We're going on Injustice 2, and everyone's crazy about it. If you're going to tease that, I'm all for it. I think these movies are going to get better as they go. I think when all of them are done, we're not going to watch them in the order that they came out in.
I think that's a good point. My impact on this, jury's still out. This was the way that Warner Brothers is doing these movies, and they're kind of doing the team-ups before they do the solo films, they're doing the opposite of what the MCU did in not really developing their characters up front. And Geiger, I think you hit that on the head, is these movies are going to get better as we go on. So when we're at 3, 4, 5 movies down the road, this movie's going to be much better because those movies are there. So they're kind of doing it backwards of what the MCU does. And I think that's a very interesting experiment that they're doing. At the end of the day, though, financially, they're a huge success, and they're going to continue to make these, and we all win. Lastly, we're going to go to rewatchability, guys. For me, it has to be the Ultimate Edition. I can't watch the theatrical edition. Has to be the Ultimate Edition. Not a lot of humor to break it up. Some really good fight scenes. I can't watch it that much, mainly because it's so long, but it's still a very good movie. And I'll watch it kind of like Man of Steel, probably twice a year, every 6 or 8 months. Who wants to go next?
I will. We'll let Geiger finish. Same with you. The third act alone, I'll rewatch any chance I get. The whole movie, like you said, because I prefer the Ultimate Edition, is a little too long, but the third act is absolutely incredible. Geiger.
I'll watch this probably once a month. This is one of my favorite movies, man. And it's Ultimate Edition, and what sucked is whenever I saw the Ultimate Edition, I'm like, how did Warner Brothers take this out of the movie? Because every scene in the Ultimate Edition is one of my favorites. When the blind guy is doing the scratcher and he's like talking about Batman, it's like he is mad and he is hunting. It's a Batman we've never ever seen before, which is the reason why Affleck said no to it and then read the script. It's like, okay, man, I can do this. I love when he was doing the lifting scene. I love the Superman face to face. Love the Doomsday. I love it all. I can watch this a ton. I know people can't because it's dark. I like dark shit. So I can watch this once a month. It's fantastic.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, we are the Bro Force Squad podcast. Don't forget to check us out on Twitter at Bro Force Squad. Leave us a review on iTunes, Bro Force Squad, YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to us on there. Leave us a comment on what you think. Facebook, Bro Force Squad, 3 words. And, of course, all of this stuff is linked out on our website, broforcesquad.com. For the other guys, all of our moms don't have the same name, but we still like each other anyway. I'm Brian Banner. For Jeff and Matt, we'll catch you guys later.
The red capes
Why
are coming.
Say that name?
The red capes are coming.